Hi everyone and welcome to Choice the Liberator extension series. And I'm so excited at 4 a.m. in the morning, and I have with me today we have Steven Bowman, we have Chutisa Bowman, and we have Lisa. Hi guys.
Hi
Hello.
everyone. Good
Hi.
morning, good evening,
Good
depending on where you are
morning.
in the world.
Good morning.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I've been like jumping up and down for 2 days now, and uh, Steve and Chutisa have been such an inspiration for me. I've been in classes with the two of them, and the questions that Chutisa asks and Steve asks, I'm like, wow. And you guys have been creating business in a totally different way, like a totally different possibility. And I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Thank you.
So I have a bunch of questions from some of our listeners, but I read your book, Prosperity Consciousness, and in that book you spoke about how you went into business, or how you changed the whole way that you did business because of some awarenesses that you came to about prosperity. Can you talk about that?
Sure. I mean, the whole notion of prosperity consciousness really underpins how you choose to create your business. And a lot of the work that we have done both in our own business and also the many hundreds and thousands of CEOs and senior executives and directors that we deal with around the world, it all comes back to the point of view that you're doing. And if you've got a point of view that there is abundance out there, there's prosperity out there, then funnily enough, you start looking for it. If you think there's a scarcity and a lack out there, well then guess what? You get all the evidence to prove the rightness of that particular point of view. Chitissa?
Well, for me, is you create your life and your business from the energy that you create from. So if you create the energy from lack, from scarcity, that's how you would actually create your business. So it is important to be aware that when you start creating or generating your business in your life, from what energy and space you are creating from. So whenever you go into the space of scarcity, be sure that that is the space that you are creating your business from. So everywhere that you create your business from scarcity, you have to be willing to destroy and uncreate all of that energy and step in to create from prosperity and abundance. And that's the foundation of your business, really.
So, so, uh,
It,
and I guess this thing about uh, creating your business from scarcity or creating your business from prosperity. It's like you have to be really vigilant to what you're doing at every point of time, because you could start off with creating from prosperity and then very insidiously get caught up in the trauma and drama and everything that we are living into. And
Well, absolutely, absolutely right. Because this world, in this reality, the business world is functioning from scarcity. Everyone functioning from lack. From we have to actually fight to get. I mean, the term they use is competitive. So basically, when you ever think that you have to compete to get something, you're already coming from scarcity and lack anyway, because if the world is an abundance place and there are plenty of things, do you have to compete, or do you just choose to create your business whatever way you would like it to be? You don't have to compete with anyone, really. You just have to outcreate yourself and outcreate everyone in every moment, because there's plenty to go around. You just have to choose. And you have to be willing to receive different possibilities. And the key thing is about who you are choosing to be.
And here's a practical tool for everyone who's listening to this, because first of all, don't judge yourself when you find you're getting into scarcity. Now, you know when you get into scarcity. I do it at least once a day in different areas, but I'm much more aware of it now than I used to be. So when you get into scarcity, your body starts to hunch up a little bit. You start to feel it's all too difficult. There's not enough of something out there. You don't don't know where to start. Something I can do about it. We could go on all about the lies of scarcity. But one of the great questions to ask of yourself or of your colleagues is simply this question. So what if that wasn't so? What would need to change? It's a fabulous question. So what if this wasn't so? What would need to change? What if it wasn't the way I thought it was? What would need to change? So it's just a very simple tool, and this is something that we teach the chief executives and the directors. Whenever they come across something where they feel, oh God, this is going to be really hard, or there's not enough money in our sector to do this, or there's nothing I can do about it because I'm just a chiropractor, or whatever it might be, then the next question you just ask yourself, well, what if that wasn't so? What would need to change? What if this was actually easy? What would need to change? What if there was plenty out there? What would need to change? And I think you're getting the point behind this. It's that part of, well, what if what I'd already decided was, in fact, wasn't, and what would need to change that, which is not a bad definition of innovation.
And I think coming back to Nilofer's question about, it is easy to maybe start, or it's not that easy, but most people will have intention to start off from the prosperity space. But before you know it, the trauma and drama of the world actually step in front of you, and you buy into the reality that it is true. So I think the key thing is to be aware that you are actually step into someone else's trauma and drama that doesn't belong to you. Unless you're able to allow yourself to have that awareness, then you're going to be a victim of this contextual reality, because everyone else around you functioning from that space. So you have to make a conscious choice to say, I am going to create my life and my business from prosperity consciousness. And the second thing is, you have to truly see and know and trust that the world an abundance place, and there are plenty to go around, because you could say that I am functioning from prosperity consciousness space, but if you don't truly believe that the world is an abundance place, of course you're going to buy into the scarcity, the lack that everyone else telling you that's real. So two things is to actually choose to be in that space, and the second one is to have to totally trust that it is, the world is an abundant place before you even do anything else.
Yeah, that is brilliant. The reason like I went to this question is I know this family friend. I've known him since I was a little girl, and they had this amazing business, and I just came to know a few days back that they are going to close down the business. And the reason they're going to close down is that there was a competitor who opened up near them. It's like a mom and pop hardware store, sorry. And the competitor opened up, and he copied the name of the business, and he copied, all the stuff that they were selling in the store. And the person that I know who does this business, he's like, oh my God, he's taking away all my customers, and business is not working anymore. And I just realized, wow, he such a thriving business, and just in a few years it has kind of come to this.
And that's a great example, Nilofer, because that's what most people think, that when there is a competitor, they're going to take things away from you. What if that's not true? What if you can outcreate them and outcreate yourself? Because the thing is, if there's someone else come and copy you, can they be as good as you? So if they can be as good as you, then you can say, what will change? What can I do different? It will create different possibility for me, because there's many other space that I can function from. I don't have to actually maintain or trying to be in exactly the same space. And maybe that's what they think, that they're already successful, therefore they have to keep on doing what they have been doing before. What if this is a great advantage, opportunity for you to start being in the question and say, okay, there's these people coming in to do and be in my space. What else can I be? What else can I do that will create greater possibilities for me? I don't have to keep on doing what I have been doing. And most people think that they have been successful in that space. They can't do anything else. And that's a lie, really, because you can do anything you choose to do. If someone else step into your space, step into another space and create greater than that.
Yeah.
Do you mean by that also choosing a totally different career or totally different business? Because a lot of people think if they find the right business, they should be getting more successful by whatever choice they do. And if somebody steps in and takes it over, they're, as we said, quote, failure. So how do you look at that in your own business?
Well, it's not about about step in or out of anything really. I suppose that's a word of this contextual. What I mean is be in the questions, because the same. Basically, if there's another restaurant open, if you have a really successful restaurant, and there another restaurant, such similar kind of thing open next to you, you can actually say, oh, there's another restaurant open up, I'm going to close down now, because obviously, there's only need to be one restaurant in this space. And can you feel that? That is a lie, right? If another restaurant opening up and they're so good at what they're doing, you can also say, what else is possible for me? Is it still expansive for me to still keep on, doing restaurant the way I am doing it right now? What else is possible? What else can I add to my business that will create different possibilities for me? And once you're in the questions, you know whether you want to maintain the same business or you want to add something else to your business to create different possibilities. Does that make sense?
Yes, I hear you all the time. It's questions, questions, questions. So like, okay, how many people do really want to ask questions in their business? Or how many people are functioning from judgments and points of views, how they build their business? Because it's almost like if you use question, are you questioning yourself, or how are you using the questions to create?
Well, I think the what most people miss out on is they hear the word question, jot it down and ask a whole lot of questions, and then absolutely do nothing. So questions alone, questions will create awareness. Awareness creates the ability to do things in a different way. Don't forget there's a little bit of doing in all this as well too. So you can't just sit down and ask questions of everything and do nothing different, because then you'll be insane, which is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It just doesn't work. Nilofer, what you've done is actually provided a fantastic case study just by providing that little story of that colleague of yours who's got themselves into that particular area, that particular view of the world. One of the things that we do is that we work with businesses, getting them to look at things from very different points of view. And what we've found is that once they're willing to look at things from different points of view, they can actually recreate their business, recreate everything that they want to recreate, and also add to their life. And what Chutisa said that was the most important part in all of that for everyone listening is, and what do I add to my life? Lisa, you asked the question, so do I need to get into something totally different? No, but you can do things different, and you can be different, and still have the shop. But it will just be a different shop that does things in a different way. So in all of this, what we've found is that there's 4 key points that if people want to be very practical about this, the 4 key points are the following. Number 1 is be innovative. Now, what the heck do we mean by that? Well, look at constantly what else is happening out there. What else do I need to do? Who else is being innovative? What can I learn from other examples of? Because every situation that you face as a business owner, trust me, someone else has faced it somewhere and really turned it to their advantage. Why not start to look for some of those and find out, so what is the innovation that we can do here? What can we do a little different that no one's thought of? Nilofer gave the example of another business coming in and just copying the first business. I'll guarantee that second business is not going to be successful because they will think they've found the answer by getting someone else out of that particular area. If the original business owner then says, okay, so the first thing is I want to look at innovation. What can I do in my shop that no one else is doing? What can I do in my shop that is just a little bit different than what everyone else is doing? What are other shops like mine doing that are different? And then that starts to lead to the questions that we've been talking about. And then the second point that you can look at is, so let me give up any business models that I've already subscribed to that actually aren't true. So a business model for a small shop might be, my shop has to look this way. No, it doesn't. It's only that you've decided that it has to look that way. How do I want my shop to look like? What are the different things that it could look like? How are the other shops that are being set up? What are they looking like around the world? What can I learn from that? So if you think, I've got to do it this way, you're screwed. You're absolutely already bought into a business model that actually isn't true. Just because everyone else does it doesn't mean it's right for you. It just means that's what everyone else does. So look at relinquishing any business models you've got in your mind. So you might think you're a chiropractor. Well, then, for example, you don't have to actually be a chiropractor like everyone else is. You can do it different. Now, what would that look like? This then gets back into innovation. And the third point is you can be a pragmatic futurist. Chutisa has a fantastic blog called Pragmatic Futurist. And have a look at that and read that and then say, now what does that mean for my business? How can I turn that to my advantage? What is it that I could do that would enable people? And look, one of the simplest things you could do is even take something like Chutisa's blog and go to your clients and say, hey, here's a great blog. What can you do in your business? So you can actually help them think differently. It's by using a different way of thinking, and you can think differently about how to get them to think differently so that they think differently and do things in a different way. All of a sudden, there's a point of difference. And then the last point, the fourth point, is looking at this whole notion of prosperity. It's part of the puzzle. Do I choose to look at everything as easy, there's an abundance, and it can be any way I want it to, or do I choose to look at it from the scarcity viewpoint, which is there's not enough out there, it's really hard, and there's nothing I can do about it? It's just your point of view.
Can I add something about the question that Lisa asked before about asking and being the question, is that you're not looking for the answer. Because most people misapply that when they ask questions, they're going to get the answer that will allow them to create their life and the business different. It's not the case. It's about create the space for you to be aware of different possibilities. So it's not like asking the question and get the right answer. That is the limitation. So ask questions, let it go, allow yourself to be, and you might be aware of different possibilities by just living your life and doing things, and something will pop up and say, maybe I could do this. Maybe I can change my restaurant to another, another type of restaurant. And for Nilofer's friend, maybe they can still doing that business, but add something else totally different to make that business, offering different services or different products.
I mean, I've got a wicked thought for Nilofer's colleague. What if they put the word "not" in front of the name of their business? So you've got this new business set up with their name, pinching all their stuff, and so they keep their business. We say, not whatever the name of this is, and then make things different. It would make fun out of the whole situation and also create a great buzz in people's lives. Just an idea, Nilofer. What if every see and immediately you start laughing and that's what all the clients will do too, and they'll want to go along and say, what does he mean by not?
and the other part of it is that what I realize is they made this so significant. Oh my God, that business is doing that, and as a result, my business is not working. And from that place, they are now creating the business. So everything that is showing up is exactly from that place.
Could you guys talk a little bit about, when you're asking question and it's starting to change, the phase where it's before it's institute, before you see it, how you deal with that when your mind wants to stop it or basically judge that it's not working. That's what I'm seeing a lot of people do. When they are in the question of started creating something and then like, yeah, but I don't have more customers. I'm not selling more. I'm not getting any more money in my pocket. So could you guys address that?
Well, I suppose that's a key thing, judging that's not working, because you obviously have an expectation about what working is supposed to look like.
I think the key to all of this one is overlaid on top of that is also, and what else can I add, and what else can I add, and what else can I add? That and if you're constantly asking yourself, what else can I add to my business? What else can I add to my business? What else can I add to my life? Then if any one particular thing doesn't particularly work out, it doesn't matter, because there's so many things going on. So the interesting thing is, let's say you've had an awareness of some sort, and you say, okay, I'm going to try this to create more clients. And then as soon as you think that is the answer, and you stop looking at other ways as well, you then bought back into, well, this is the answer, and if it doesn't work, I'm also a failure. What if you actually said, here are the different ways I can add more clients. I'm going to try this one. Oh, and here's another one, and I'll try this one as well. Oh, and here's another one, and I'll try this one. And I guarantee you'll get more clients. It just won't necessarily be because any of those three things that you've done. None of this is linear. People have got to get it's not linear. What the big difference in that is that your sense of curiosity and your sense of excitement and your sense of possibility will start to get you to look at things differently, and then you can institute each of these new things, but it doesn't matter whether it works or not. That's not the point. The point is you're looking at things differently, you're looking at things with a sense of curiosity, and you're constantly adding.
And I think that was so interesting then when people judge that something's not working. Let's look at that one. When people are actually judging that something's not working, you obviously already have decision and conclusion and also expectation about what the thing's supposed to look like if it is working. What if the things that you judge not working actually really working well, but because you judge that it's not working, you are actually not receiving what is actually happening or occurring, and you not actually use it as strategic advantage. So whenever you're in business and you start jumping into saying, oh, this is not working, maybe it's going down another path that would create greater possibilities than the path you think it should be, and not working. You obviously have another question. Lisa looks like she has another question with that, though.
Go, Lisa.
It's so cool that you addressed that, because I see how quickly people do that, and I'm like, wow. And it's like when you guys had the curiosity, I see that's when I don't mind if one thing doesn't work so well. I just explore the things no matter what shows up. But I see how quick it is that we just say, this didn't work, let's stop it, and then there's nothing else after that. So I'm like, wow, you guys are addressing a point that I see constantly around me all the time, and sometimes I wonder, why do we just, and it's just like it kills everything if they stop,
Exactly.
it didn't work. And I'm like,
exactly.
But we don't know what
One key tool that I would like to give to people when they actually in that space is to stop, catch yourself and stop and say, what conclusion am I being here? And what conclusion? Because you obviously go into conclusion when you think it is not working.
Yeah. Yes.
And if you're not being a conclusion, you might open up yourself, open up the space to receive different possibilities. Oh, okay, it doesn't have to be a red car. It can be a blue car. It might be even more expensive to get the blue car instead of a red car if you go looking to buy a car. Do you know what I mean?
But are people more determined to show or prove that they are a failure than willing to include that they might be successful?
The joy of failure is a big thing, isn't it? I think we had a conversation about people really have a joy of failure, and that seemed to be the thing that it's collective unconsciousness, really, in this world.
Can you talk more about that, Chutisa? Because I'm not sure everybody gets that. How can you enjoy failure? It's incredible, and it happens all the time.
See if you can add to that, darling.
Yes.
We lost him?
No, I'm still here.
I can't hear you at all.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, go for
Okay,
it.
cool. I'm not sure why you thought. Okay, so joy of failure is where people actually, because they've got a point of view that they are likely to fail at things, they're constantly looking for the evidence to show that they're actually failing. And if you look for evidence, guess what? You start to find it. Right? And everything that you do is then created around to prove that particular point of view. So the joy of failure is, see, I was right. It's the rightness of your point of view again. Now, if nothing could be a failure, it was just different than what you'd already decided it should be, and you recognize that this is just different, then you start to look at, now, how can I turn that to my advantage? People too often get into, I know this is going to be hard. I know it's going to be difficult. I hope I succeed. If I don't, then explode in a big, horrible ball of mist. Yeah, it's it's this joy of failure where they're constantly looking for evidence of how they're going to fail in something, and ignoring everything else around them. So, if you've got a joy of failure, then you've also got the point of view that if you're a success, then it must look like this. If it doesn't meet this, whatever this is, then by its very definition, it must be a failure. So it's the black and white view of the world. What if there were 450 other really cool outcomes from that are knocking at your awareness for you to take note of, but because you're so convinced that it's either got to be this or it's going to be a failure, that's all you ever get to see. And you don't look to see all the other really amazing potential out there that could triple your income, because you're not willing to look at it because you've already decided how it should be. So the joy of failure being in that sort of where I was right, screwed it again, didn't work. Oh, God, it's hard out there.
And the thing is, the failure is a lie anyway. There's no such thing as failure. You only fail if you have a certain expectation about what's winning or what not fail supposed to look like. What if everything is supposed to be the way it's creating? The thing is, if Thomas Edison enjoyed the joy of failure, we wouldn't have light right now, because he failed so many times according to our reality before he actually came to, and if you keep looking at different people, if you're even looking at now like Apple, and if you read all their history, people would judge that they fail with so many things, so many previous computer and all this sort of thing. But look what they're creating now. So they never judge that anything failed. It's just giving them different possibilities. So failure is just a lie.
What will dispel failure? What will make failure disappear from your view of reality is if you function from this sense of curiosity, if you function from this sense of question, you function from this sense of possibility. Functioning from those three things, failure doesn't even bloody well exist, because it's irrelevant. It doesn't exist. So if you actually look at your business from that point of view, from the sense of curiosity, from the sense of fun, from the sense of joy, creating the business that works for you has got nothing to do with money. Money's a byproduct of all these other things: a sense of fun, curiosity, joy, possibility. One of a recent example, for example, many of the people who are listening to this will be running seminars or running workshops or doing something with clients, right? We run these public programs, 2,000 people, slightly different version, we'll have 60 people, sometimes we've got 10. Now, if we have 10, is it a failure? No, because you don't see it as a failure. One of the more recent ones that I had was where we had, I think, 6 people, and I had fun. It was a sense of curiosity. The people that were there were absolutely having a blast, and 2 days later, one of them gave me a $20,000 job. Now, did you go into that expecting that? No. But what were they buying? What do people actually buy? What they buy is a sense of curiosity, a sense of excitement, and a sense of possibility. That's what people buy. And if you're willing to be that, that's what people are going to buy. Then you add out onto that your particular skills or your particular business. But people will buy curiosity, possibility, excitement. Then I'll start what you're providing.
And success never looked the way you want it to look anyway. Like our example, Steve, like when we do master classes, sometimes you get 100, 200 people, sometimes you get 50. So when you get 50, and if you judge that fail, you might not able to receive what might transpire from that 50 people. And quite often, when you have small number, if you didn't judge that, that didn't work, you often find 2 or 3 of other people will actually come to you and say, could you please come and work with our board? Could you please come and present this to someone else? So the outcome is never what the number of people sitting on the seat in that moment in time. The outcome from that just 50 people versus 200 people is that it's more expansive. You have more 100 jobs, 1,000 more people from that space. If you're willing to not judge that what's right or wrong and what's success and what's failure, and be willing to see, okay, I wonder what getting created from this space. I know that something else happening or occurring, and what would it be for me to receive all of that?
I'm just going to make a comment that I encourage people to ponder over the next 18 months because it's one of these wedge and walk comments, and that is that we know there's an infinite amount of money out there. We know there's an infinite amount of all sorts of different resources. It's just very different than what we've already decided. So what if your point of view about what money was, about what success was, what if that point of view is what you're actually creating? So if something is not occurring that is creating the life that you desire, then look at some of your points of view about this, because that's what's actually creating it. Often we find that the universe is knocking at our awareness door, just saying, hey, look at all these wonderful things that are available to you, and we refuse to see the damn things because we've already decided whatever it is, what it should look like. So if you really want to create a business that works for you, don't have any point of view about what that business should look like.
What if business is just about life and living? What if business is not just purely to make money? It's about life and living. So if you're functioning from that space about you doing business from living and from life, what else you can create and generate from that space? And if you could do everything from just for the fun of it.
Business is business.
You could do it
A different business.
If you just do it from just for the fun of it, if you can have fun and having the life and living, and that's the business. And the money, don't have an expectation that you must make 100,000 today or any of those. You just kill the business.
I think a lot of people have a weird point of view about business, how you're supposed to feel or how it's supposed to be and how serious and it's tough and it takes a lot of years to be successful, and not many people talk about joy. I mean, I think I was fortunate having parents that decided to change their career and do something they really enjoyed doing, even if they were not happy with it every day, but they had this eager joy. They wanted always to expand. But I see a lot of people really like it's a big thing to do. It's not fun. You're going to work a lot. You're not going to be successful for a long time. Like, this is so different in being willing to choose to live in a different way, like included. Does somebody ask me, when do I work? I'm like, always and never, because it never feels like work. Very, very rare it does. Once in a while, yes. But I was like, wow, this can be very different if you're willing to choose from living. I love that you addressed that, Chutisa. It was really fun to hear it again. Like, wow, how would it be if we chose everything from that space?
Yeah, and how often do people actually buy into the lie that you really do have to work hard for your money, and you have to really work hard in your business, and if you don't work hard, then you won't make, a successful business.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it's just crazy. I mean, what if you change from all the word that having to work hard, if you put joy and fun and having the fun of it and all of that in place, you would create from different possibility in your life. It's like I wouldn't do anything if it's not fun. That's the only criteria for me. If it's fun, I can get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, like you, listen, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning just to do it because it's fun.
It's fun,
and, yes. So if you do everything from fun, that is a space.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about fun is what creates fun? Your point of view about what it is or isn't.
Yeah.
So if it's fun, it's just your point of view about it. If something's not fun, then you've got a couple of options. Change your point of view so it is fun, change something else so it's fun, or do something else.
So, and the other thing about failure is, most people will judge it as a success or failure based on, it should happen by this time. So if you actually take out time from the equation, there's no such thing as success or failure.
Yes, so true.
So I have a bunch of questions which people have sent in. Let me ask this one. In your book, now they don't say what book it is, you say that all the heroes, life as the source, not the effect of life, heroes. So because they operate with non-contextual awareness, at the same time they are functional within the contextual reality. Could you give
That's no more business as usual book.
Yeah. So can you give some examples?
This one.
Yay! Yay!
So what was the question again? Oh, you got the question, Steve. Fun.
I think it was about how do you function in this contextual reality, but also function from non-contextual. So I'm not sure.
Being functional within this contextual reality, and not buying this contextual reality as real and true.
Okay.
Is that correct, Nilofer?
Yes.
Cool. Do you want me to go with that one, Chutisa, or do you want to do that?
Yes, you do. You go ahead, Steve.
Okay. So this is, if you get this is going to change your business. If you get this, so listen. You've got to understand what's happening out there in your sector, in your profession, in your business. You've got to understand it. You've got to be aware of it. So that means that you've got to read about things. You've got to see what other people are doing. You've got to look to see what other businesses are doing. But at the same time, you can't buy any of it as real. It's not real. It's just how they're doing it. So if you understand what's actually happening out there, this means that you have to understand things like bookkeeping. You've got to understand things like finances. You've got to understand things like how some businesses work. But none of it is real. So this contextual reality says that there are certain rules and regulations you've got to follow. Cool, follow them, but don't buy them as a reality. It is not how to do business, it's just some of the rules and regulations. The next question is, now how can we turn those to our advantage? Now, I don't want to have to spend time learning how to do bookkeeping. So how can I do bookkeeping without having to do bookkeeping? Oh, I know, shock horror, I'll get a bookkeeper. But I can't afford them. Well, what if I could? What would need to change? What if I could actually deal with a bookkeeper so that I could provide them with clients and they could give me pro bono work? There's 101 million different ways of how you can do this. But the contextual reality would say you've got to pay someone to do this. Non-contextual reality would be, okay, I know I need to use this. What are the 4 different ways I actually do this in a very different way? So people have said, oh, you just need to function outside of this reality. No, you need to understand or be aware of this reality, use it to your advantage, but don't buy any of it as real. So this is how you can actually leverage off. This is how you can manipulate. This is how you can look to see what's happening in this reality, this contextual reality, because everyone else functions from it. Be aware of what they're doing and then do something different as well.
So for people who haven't read our book and don't understand what contextual reality actually means, is that when people function, so from where do I fit, where do I benefit, how do I win, and how do I not to lose, that's when you step into contextual reality, and that's what all businesses are functioning from. So if you know where other people in the business functioning from, you can use that to your advantage. And like Steve was saying also, that you need to understand or need to get the awareness and knowledge about different aspects of business. Not that you have to do it yourself, but you have to have the awareness that if you use the bookkeeper, you're not giving your power totally away to your bookkeeper and your accountant. How many people do we know in business that totally collapse because they think, okay, I find a great bookkeeper, I find the accountant, I don't need to know anymore about money and about finance. And they give the power totally away to their accountant and to their bookkeeper. And, then they pull the energy out of anything to do with money and finance. And that's when they hit the fan, because things will happen behind your back. And you shut off your awareness totally and not feeling or knowing or being what's going on. So when you're functioning, being functional in this reality is understand what needs to be done to make your business successful, but use awareness to be aware when you have to put the energy into that place. You don't have to do anything yourself.
So you don't really want to get rid of it. You just want to add somebody that would create something different for you, like bookkeeping. Like I see, like you guys are talking, not cutting off your awareness. So how easy it is. How do we cut off our awareness? Is it like when we don't like something, or we just like? Could you talk more about this? Because I see that happening a lot with people, areas they don't like.
Well, most people. I've been working with a lot of women in business.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to women. We are so brilliant at so many things. But lots of time we tend to give our power away about finance and about money to someone else. I mean, most women that I talk to is so brilliant in every aspect of their life, but they tend to give their financial reality over to their partner and over to their accountant, because they think, oh, I don't know how to do it, it's too hard, I'm not interested in finance. So when you're in that space, you have to stop and say, okay, everywhere that I'm giving my power away, I'm willing to stop doing that and ask the question, so what would it take for me to get more awareness, to know more about financial reality? Not that you have to become an accountant, but the energy of the finance, you have to be willing to receive that. And that will create totally different possibility for you, and will generate, more money and more possibilities and more success if you're willing to receive the energy of finance.
And if you're willing to receive the energy of finance, for example, then you start to ask different questions. I'll give you some questions that will turn you into a financial expert. Here's the question. So what do I need to know? And you can ask your accountant, what do I need to know?
Oh, yeah.
You can ask your bookkeeper, what do I need to know? You can ask colleagues that run successful multi-million-dollar businesses, what do I need to know? You need everything, you just need to know that you need to know. And you keep asking, so what do I need to know now? Because it'll be very different than what you needed to know 6 months ago, and it'll be different again in 6 months' time. So what do I need to know? It's not a bad question. That'll turn you into a financial expert without having to be a financial expert, because you've got access to financial expertise just by asking the question, what do I need to know?
Wow.
It's not hard.
Another question?
Yeah.
So I've been a strong self-starter and a successful small business operator in earlier years of life with a shopfront business. Now I choose to create a business from home, and I'm having problems getting started. I struggle with the social media concept of creating a business, even though I know it may be the key to success. What energy, space, and consciousness or action is required to create on a low budget? And what is the greatest contribution I or anyone can be to create and generate a business with ease?
Wow. Do you know, it'd be really interesting for that person to sit down and just list down all the points of view that question has brought to the surface. First point of view, that I used to run a successful business. That's the first point of view. Second point of view, I'm not interested in social media. Second point of view. Third point of view, so what is it that, and this is probably the only one that's worth listening to, what do I need to change? Okay, go back to the first two. Change those points of view.
But it's
tap
true, it's
into.
all start with the point of view. It's all start with the point of view. So list down all the point of view, like Steve said, and then work through each one and change.
And have fun with it, because you look at that question. That in that question is a 2-day workshop to just work through those points of view. So first point of view, I had a successful business in the past. Okay, what if you looked at that and say, well, hang on a second, I've just defined what successful business is. Wow. What if it wasn't successful? What if it was just a different business that I really enjoyed? Now, the next question would be, what did I enjoy? What can I take from that enjoyment into this next lot? What I enjoyed was my point of view, that it gave me the freedom, it gave me access to clients, it enabled me to play with different products. Oh, I wonder if my online business could do the same thing. But I don't know how to do an online business. Well, next question would be, well, who would I need to ask? Who does?
Can I interrupt 1 second, Steve? I have the key questions for this person that asked the question. And if you keep asking that question, it will change your reality totally. And the question is, what can I be or do different today that would create more than I ever thought was possible right away? And if you keep asking that question, you will create totally different possibility. When you start going into, I'm living from home, I'm working from home, and I hate social medias, and things are not working, and lives are tough, and the business not successful, stop and ask, what can I be or do different today that would create more than I ever thought was possible right away? And keep on asking that. What energy, space, consciousness can I be that would allow me to create different possibility for my business right away? Either or, they're both wonderful questions.
Nilofer, next one.
Okay. Hi, I came to a point of view when things take time, and I keep giving, but 4 or 5 years pass and it doesn't move much. Then I feel it may not be meant to be, so I change the career. It's happening again, and I'm now using access tools, asking questions. Every career I have chosen comes naturally to me, makes me happy, but doesn't grow outside the small box. I know I'm an infinite being, so even if I do not create something, doesn't matter to me. So, I mean, it's all in the same vein.
It's the same question that this person needs to ask. What can I be or do different today that would create more than I ever thought was possible right away? It's a really cool question for anyone and everyone. Start asking that question. Some awareness will come to you sooner or later. And never come to conclusion. Never come to conclusion. And all of those is a conclusion. As soon as you go into any of conclusion, you already kill different possibilities.
The other thing that comes from that question too is, again, the point of view that I've changed profession. Now, what that tells me is whoever's asking that, and many people do this is the way the profession has to be. They've already built into a business model. They've already bought into a business model. This is the way the profession has to be. What if you started asking the questions, this is the profession I'm in, what are the 4 different ways I can create money out of working in this profession? That'd be a different way of looking at it. And then you start, and what that question does, what are the 4 different ways I can create money out of? What that does is it gets you to start looking at different ways of creating, using the profession as a platform, but not the answer. And so what are the 4 different ways that I can make money out of being an artist? What are the 4 different ways I can make money out of being a social worker? What are the 4 different ways I can make money? And as soon as you think, oh no, there's only one way, I can only be a salaried employee, then you've already bought into that business model. There are millions of different ways you can make money out of it. Well, let's make it a bit easier and narrow it down to 4. And don't complain if you only come up with 3.
Okay. Another one. I have a business that was quite successful for over 4 years, and after having a relationship breakup, I let it go. I seem to be more drawn towards investing my time with Access rather than my business. So how can I continue to keep my business successful and continue having time for Access, as this is one of the things that keeps me sane?
Okay. Listen to the other responses we've provided to all the other questions. Chutisa, do you want to add to that one?
It is wonderful. It's to do with, if you listen to all the question, it's and then you're looking at your reality. That's exactly what you are creating. I mean, for example, if you really love what you do right now, keep on doing it. That's what we are saying. For the person, the last question that you asked, if the person really love and enjoy Access, and that's give them the vitality and life, you could ask, what else can I do with Access that will create different possibilities for me? Obviously you found something that you really love doing, and that is create a new possibility for you. You don't have to let go of the other business either, but you can say, okay, this is something that I really love. What else is possible? What else can I be and do with Access that will create more than I could ever imagine? Because quite often, most people don't know what they actually love or what they enjoy in doing. You already know what you love and enjoy doing. So now, ask, what can you be and do different to allow these things that you love doing to create different possibilities for you?
I just want to say, because I love hearing you guys. I was talking to a friend. We have seen that. She's seen the videos we've done on YouTube, and she's like, I wonder what it'd be listening to these guys for an hour or for a day. I'm like, yes, it's coming very soon. And one thing I've been doing as well, when I get stuck in not finding the right question to ask, or I feel myself stuck when I'm looking at my business, I just really want to show you guys what is out there. My little app that I have downloaded, the Edge of Possibilities, and it's really like having you guys in my pocket. I put it on when I'm walking my dog, or in the morning, or in the afternoon, where I feel like, hey, there's not enough going on in my life, and I just click on something. There's a lot of audios and videos and written stuff, and I'm like, I love using these things to inspire me to create something different. And because you don't need to remember all these questions if you don't have them all written down or all that. But guys, there's so much out there that we can use to our advantage. And I can say I love this app, and not just because I love you guys, but I really love the app because it really gets me going every time I feel that I'm a bit stuck.
And the other thing, Lisa, and I actually wanted to say was, I've been listening to you guys for, it's been like 43 minutes now, or 53 minutes, something like that. And I'm like, wow, I wish I could listen to you more and more and more. So, and you guys are going to come to us bringing more. So can you talk more about that? What are you offering to us? How can we connect with you? How can we be in classes with you?
I am so grateful to be able to say Steve and Chutisa are going to have a telecall series starting 28th of July. You can, you can be all around the world. You can sit anywhere where you can go on the phone and call in. And they're addressing all these energies about business. It's called The Art of Creating Business from the Edge of Possibility. And it's all about this, because you guys have that all within you guys that are looking at businesses. And one of the things I know that these two people are really brilliant in asking the questions that unlock you and change you from wherever you're stuck to creating something different. And we have 4 topics that they have. This is the thing. You get a little peek in what is possible. And I was looking at the 4th topic today. It's called Being Unstoppable, from fear to unlimited possibilities. I'm like, wow, if I would only use 10, 20, 30% more of that energy in my life, oh my God, what would happen for my business? So anybody can join this call. There's no prereqs. Costs $350, and it starts the 28th of July. Do you guys want to add something about the telecall series?
I mean, the telecall series is going to challenge a whole lot of notions about business. Why does it challenge it? Because the old notions of business just don't work. And we've got so many examples of where you change your point of view, your business will actually change. So what we're going to be talking about actually works. It's not just a good idea. This stuff works. And this is, you know, and the sort of thing we'll be talking about is relevant for those who want to be in business, who are currently in business, who are staff in another business. So it's, and also the business of your life as well too. What it can do is actually change, you know, your points of view and give you some really cool techniques and tools that are very, very practical. Can
And
immediately change your business if you just use them.
you don't necessarily have to have a business. You can even be employed, and it would also contribute to that.
Exactly. This is if you're a staff in a business somewhere and you're employed somewhere. It can actually, yeah. What if you were a staff in a business and you treated as if treated that as if it were your business? Well, do you think you might come to the attention of some people that might say, "Oh, this person's pretty special"? So there's some really cool stuff in there that does make a difference. The other thing is, if you have a look at our website, nomorebusinessasyusual.com, you'll get a whole lot of really cool stuff on there as well too. And from there you'll be able to tag into the blog that Chutisa does, which has got a huge worldwide audience now, called Pragmatic Futurist.
Yeah.
And you can also have a look at the app on there, you know, all these sorts of things. But the Tally series is probably the first start, because then we'll start really getting into some very cool examples and some very practical things about how you can create business from the edge of possibility, from the point of view of question, not from the point of view of answer.
And can I add it to that, please? For us, business is about life and living. So what if you start looking at business as life and living, and you can replace the thing like no more life and living as usual. So it doesn't have to be a business. It's just about life and living.
Yeah,
And
no
what
more
about
employee
living?
issue.
No more life and living as usual. No more how to lead your life from the edge of possibilities. So it's all about life and living.
That's exciting. And I also, I'm really happy that you guys are coming to Europe, that you are having 2 seminars, one in London and one in Copenhagen. And that's in October. It's all on the website as well. I think it's 4th and 5th of October in Copenhagen, and 10th and 11th of October in London. So you can also meet them live. And of course, if you want to see them around the world, gotta ask a question. Maybe they will show up then as well.
It will be a lot of fun. I can feel it.
Just being with you guys for 15 minutes, my whole reality has changed. I'm so excited about the teleclass.
They have that effect on people, I know.
And it's only 5 o'clock in Dubai. What else? What else can you create today? What grand and glorious adventure will you be creating?
Oh my God, I'm all charged up. So, you know, Steven, Chutisa, like for a lot of our listeners, you know, who've been following Access Consciousness and who've been like facilitators and maybe practitioners and things like that, what would be some of the tools that they can use to expand their business? I know we've been talking a lot about that, but is there anything specifically you could give us?
Chutisa, do you feel that one?
Well, the key tools, you know, the key tools that we use ourselves in every day of my life really is being the questions. I beat the question as soon as I open my eyes and I, you know, become sort of awake in the morning. I would always ask, you know, who am I today? And what grand and glorious adventure will I be having today? And I always start my day with that question, because that question in itself allows me to destroy and uncreate everything that I was yesterday, and allow me to create everything new, totally new today. So that's the first question that I always ask.
And for heaven's sake, don't use that with your relationships, because that doesn't work with relationships. Uncreate and destroy your relationship every day. What would that look like? Who do I want to be today? And what, yeah. So
the tools that we would recommend is just start off being the question, and don't try to get the answer. And be willing to receive all of the awareness and possibilities that might be, you know, available in that moment. And the key question that I would love to give to everyone before we finish is, so never come to the conclusion about anything And also the next one, the next question is, instead of asking questions that try to create result, ask, what do I have to be or do today to expand this business right away? Or what can I do or be today to expand my life right away?
Great question.
If you have a
Wow.
lot of business, if you have a lot of business or a lot of project going, which I do. So after I ask myself, you know, those questions when I woke up, I will always ask, where do I need to put my energy today? So I will put my energy to the thing that I get the awareness of. Otherwise, you get overwhelmed. Otherwise, you'll be thinking, oh my God, I have so much to do. I don't know which one to do it. I know what to do. If you ask yourself, where do I need to put my energy today that will create greater possibility for me, for my business, and for the world right away?
Wow.
So let's start asking those questions even more. This is so cool.
Steve, do you have anything to add to that?
Chutisa is absolutely brilliant at these questions. That's why she out-creates and out-innovates anyone that I know.
Wow.
And I know thousands of
I
top
really
people.
do use the question. I really, it's
She
it's just like I couldn't encourage anyone enough. Just please use it, please, and that's a start of everything.
And one of the things that I've found in terms of both the tools and also, to me, the key tool that's changed business is very simply this: your point of view creates your reality. So literally, most things come back to that. Your point of view actually creates your reality. So if something's not working for me, then I have a look at what my point of view is. Now, often I'll talk with Chutisa about it. So sometimes the point of view that I've got, I haven't even articulated. I've just got it. Yeah. So, yeah, exploring what point of view you've got about something, and then saying, okay, I'm over that, is not a bad tool. Yeah. Great. I'm over that. What next?
I wonder what it would happen if everybody would use questions, because it would be very different for everybody around us. Well, so yeah. Like, what if we would challenge ourselves to ask more questions and see what happens? Like every time you have a point of view or you feel stuck, ask a question, see what happens. Be curious.
Exactly. It's interesting. I posted on Facebook about 3 days ago. Oh no, probably about a week ago now. And a CEO responded to the post because the post was something about being the question, and the CEO said, "Yeah, but you got to find an answer sometime." And I said, "Okay." And I wrote back 3 words. I wrote back question, do, have. Question, do, have. Question, do, have. Be the question, do something, have it, then be the question again, do something, have it. Don't forget the doing bit. But the doing bit comes from the question.
Yes.
Never in there is the word answer, because as soon as you've got the answer, you stop question. So question, do, have. Question, do. It's just yeah. And then I think I wrote stir and repeat. I didn't hear from him again.
But talking about being the question, like quite often it is fun talking about all these tools and things, but you're going to be having to deal with difficult people and difficult projects and things in life. I tend to be asking the question, who am I being? When I feel really irritated and annoyed with people, I'm not trying to them. I would just stop and ask, who am I being? That if I change it, will create different reality, because it's the energy that I am creating within myself as well that will create that space to be annoyed with people, or for the business and not doing well, or the project's not working out the way it's supposed to be according to my conclusion. I stop and I say, oh, okay, I got into conclusion again. Who am I being? What needs to change here? we all so fast at going into conclusion. You know, if any, I would love to stop totally going to conclusion, and that's, I think, it's my target. What would it take for me to stop
Wow.
functioning from conclusion?
Wow.
Wow, wow, amazing. Oh my God, I have been sitting and making notes. I've written like pages and pages and pages. Oh, thank you so much for this. Do you have time for a last question?
Of course.
Sure.
For you, Nilofer, anything.
I'm going to hold you to that, Steve. Okay. So I have a belief that you need to be in a group of people like-minded to have the best rather than being alone and changing at a slow rate. So I'm aware that this is a truth with a lie attached. What question can I ask here to change this?
Steve.
All I heard was I lost interest after I heard the word "a belief in." And I don't mean to be rude here, but as soon as I have a belief in, means that, okay, I've already decided how something should be. And it's irrelevant what comes after that. It's totally irrelevant what the rest of that sentence was, because as soon as you have a belief in, then you've already decided that's the way it should be. So please, destroy and uncreate all beliefs that you've got. What if it just was in any way that it needed to be? So can you read that question out again? Because now I'll actually listen to the rest of it.
I so I'll read after belief. You need to
Okay.
you need to be in a group of people like-minded to have the best rather than being alone.
Okay, so
and
let's stop
changing.
there. Okay, so there's already, I need to be with a group of like-minded people. Oh, yeah, there is no one like you. That's the point. And there should never be anyone like you, because what you are as a person is the sense of excitement and joy and curiosity. And it's irrelevant what other people are like. Be this yourself. Don't expect anyone else to be it. And that's another business model. I've got to be around like people. No, you don't. You've just got to be this yourself. And guess what that creates? In everyone else's universe, it creates a sense of curiosity. It creates a sense of joy. If you are being joy, that's either going to, number one, piss off some people, which creates even more joy in my life. The more people you piss off that don't like joy, the more fun that is. And then it creates a sense in their life, a sense of possibility. And if they don't see a sense of possibility in that, they go away, which again creates joy in my life. There's nothing better than someone going away if they can't see any of this.
And the word like-minded is contextual reality. You know, as soon as you say like this or like-minded, it's like, where do I fit? What if you don't have to fit anywhere? What if you just being you and be the catalyst that creates different possibility wherever you are or wherever you be? If you start being in the group and like-minded, you already by conclusion that that's the only space that you can be the greatness that you could be. What if you can be the greatness that you could truly be just by choosing to be that?
Here's some great questions for that person to consider, because we've actually used this in our own life, and Chutisa is absolute living proof of all this. Why don't you ask yourself the questions like, what if I was the CEO of my own life? What would that look like? Second question, what if I was the chief financial officer of my own life? What would that look like? What if I was the chairman of my board of directors in my life? What would that look like? What if I was the joy and the energy and the fun in my life? What would that look like? If you're willing to be that...
Can I add another question? Am I a leader in my own life? And if not, why not? And who's the leader in my life if I'm not the leader in my own life? Sorry, Steve.
Ouch. Great question. And then just asking those questions, because having the belief that you have to surround yourself with like-minded people means that you're going to put yourself in a very small box and go insane very quickly.
Wow. So awesome. Is there anything else you want to add to our whole conversation, not this question, but the conversation we've been having?
I just say really enjoy the questions. Can you please thank you all of the listeners and the people who participated in. See, the point behind asking questions is not to seek an answer, it's to seek different insights, to enable us to look at things in a different way. Every question that someone asks gets us personally to look at things in a slightly different way too. Every question creates awareness. There's no such thing as a dumb question. There's no such thing as a question that does anything other than create greater awareness, both in the person who's asking the question and also the person who's receiving the question, which is not a bad way to finish this off, because actually being the question can then lead to the sort of questions that you can ask, which can then lead to different sorts of questions, which then changes both your reality and the reality of everyone else around you.
I like to leave everyone with this question to ask, though, whether are you a leader in your own life? And if you don't get a yes, the next question could be, what would it take for you to be a leader in your own life? What needs to change?
Wow.
Join us on the Tally series and we can explore this in more depth.
Yes, yes.
We're looking forward.
So for those of you who are watching us on the event page, if you just scroll down the video, you will see this little button which says Steven Chutisa's teleclass. Click that button and it will take you to the place where you can register for the teleclass. And I am so grateful for both of you, Steve and Chutisa. This has been such an amazing interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
Our great pleasure.
Thank you for
thank you,
hosting
Lisa.
us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for all our listeners for sending in your questions, for watching us live, and for all the people who are going to listen to the replay as well. Thank you once again.
Okay. Bye.
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 Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.